It's episode number 100. Thank you so much for tuning in. On today's show, we talk to Dr. Laila Mintas, the CEO of PlayUp. She talks a little bit about her past career, what's going on at PlayUp, and then we get into some legal U.S. sports betting talk. Enjoy.
This is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy.
Everywhere you turn, it's the same old sports talk, the same headlines, the same news, and the same boring information. This podcast is here to change all of that. We bring you hot sports takes, winning sports betting strategy and picks, reliable gaming industry news, and breaking interviews with some of the biggest names in sports business. My name is Ryan Newpel, and welcome to the Noop Sports Show. All right, welcome back to another episode of the Noop Sports Show. I'm your host, Ryan Newpel, here with you each and every time. Thank you guys so much for giving us a little bit of your time, carving it out of your day to listen and watch this show today. Today, I'm joined by a very special guest. I have the CEO and board director at PlayUp, Dr. Laila Mintas. Dr. Laila, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure. I appreciate you being here, and I'm looking forward to hearing your story a little bit, and I'm sure the audience is as well. So thank you for your time. First of all, you staying safe through all of this COVID shutdown?
Yes, thank you for asking. Yeah, I'm staying safe. I'm based in Vegas, out in Henderson, so it's pretty quiet here, and self-quarantine more or less since March. So, because of the young kids that I'm having, I keep it pretty safe, and don't want to take any risk.
Yeah, I'm here in Florida, and that's, if you know anything about Florida right now, the numbers are skyrocketing. So I'm playing it pretty safe here as well. Luckily, my family and friends and everybody I know are safe as well, but we're definitely playing it safe here in Florida.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump right in. I want to hear a little bit about your background. So give us a little bit about your background in the iGaming space, maybe some jobs you've had, or just how you got to where you are today.
Yeah, funny enough, I'm a lawyer by trade. I would never have thought that I end up in the sports betting industry, to be honest. I wrote my PhD in law about sports betting via the internet, published in Germany, where I'm originally from. And that was basically picked up by someone at FIFA who then hired me to run FIFA's integrity efforts. So I was the head of integrity and international development at the subsidiary of FIFA called Early Warning System. We were basically monitoring the betting market and the performance of the players to see if there are any irregularities that could be linked to match manipulation. And that's how I really started off, kind of like becoming interested in sports betting and sports. And did that a few years for FIFA and afterwards for CONCACAF, which is the football or soccer administration body for North America, Central America, and the Caribbean. And after that, basically started with Sportradar, which most people, I think, are more familiar in the sports industry nowadays. So we basically were, and Sportradar still is, one of the biggest sports data companies. So basically selling data across the industry. When I left Sportradar, we had a market share of over 80% already in the US and on a global level in the regulated markets. And I thought from there on, there was nothing more for me to basically win. Yeah. So I thought it's time for a new adventure and basically left and consulted for a few years. Here in Las Vegas, actually. And met the guys from PlayUp, was very impressed by what they have built in a short time in Australia and New Zealand and India. And they had the plans to come into the US, so it was basically a no-brainer for us to work together and for me to help them getting into the US.
That's amazing. Sounds like quite the career path you've had and some really, really cool experiences as well along the way. So congrats on all that success and more success to come. So tell us a little bit about PlayUp and, give the audience the 100-foot view of what PlayUp is and I guess where you're going.
Yeah, so what is exciting about PlayUp is that we have our own technology in-house. So we are a sports betting and fantasy company. So the company started off initially with fantasy sports, was one of the first fantasy platforms in Australia where you actually had to pay. and then developed over time by acquiring a few more companies and built in-house technology. It's in-house tech platform. Risk and trading is in-house. We even have a customer service team in-house, and that all was a very lean team. Headquarter is in Australia, in Sydney, and now here for the US in Nevada, where I'm based. We're excited. We acquired market access in a few states here in the US already. We will be launching that step by step in the next couple of weeks and months. And very exciting. I have always seen so many things from the eyes of a betting operator. So when I was working on the league side, we worked with the operators on a global level and did agreements. And then basically with Sportradar, we were supplying data to the entire sports betting and gaming industry. And then I consulted also with a company called BetWorks, where I'm also the chairwoman of the advisory board. And therefore, I know the platform business pretty well. So I was very excited then to hear that PlayUp has their own tech, their own platform in-house, which makes the company pretty agile and developing new products. And I don't think I would have joined PlayUp just to have another sports betting brand out there in the US. What we really want to do is disrupt the market, being innovative, being that young and fresh company that has innovative and disruptive ideas and basically rock the US market. So here we are.
That's amazing. So you said you've already kind of gotten into a couple of the states. Can you share what states you guys are going to be working in here soon, or is that private knowledge at this point?
It's still top secret, but it's coming out in the next couple of weeks. But
cool.
What I can share so far is that we do online only.
Yep.
I think in times of pandemics, etc., that's probably a good approach. So the company has always been an online only brand in Australia and the other markets that they are in. So that makes sense now for the US as well. And it helps us being more scalable. So our products are online only. We will have a big variety of different products, or full suite of different products in the market, but it's too early to tell you what exactly that will be. That's all kind of like top secret at that moment.
Sweet. Well, we'll be on the lookout for that for sure. But I mean, you can't talk a little bit about, what I've always said is the United States is like a different beast when we're dealing with this legalization of sports betting, right? And it's like every single state feels like its own country when you're dealing with them. And so speak a little bit about what it's like just trying to navigate through the different legal, rules in the different states and things like that. You don't have to talk about specific states, but just what that's like from, a planning perspective for an operator like you guys.
Yeah, so what we're looking for is where you have a high population, basically. Those markets are pretty interested. So 3 biggest states here in the US, Florida, California, and Texas, have not legalized sports betting yet, but I think it's coming pretty soon. And it is good for us, so it gives us time to get into the market and then go step by step into the markets that have legalized online sports betting.
Yeah.
And start there and then basically extend over the entire country. But I think it's very important that states legalize online sports betting. As we all know, before the US had that, before PASPA was repealed, there was a huge illegal offshore sports betting market. So people outside the US basically accepting US customers. And we have now to establish legalized sports betting across the country, so people have a legal opportunity to play sports betting. And that only helps basically converting the offshore players into legal players. And I think it's human nature that people want to play, especially if you love sport, you want to place a bet. And I think I have always seen like sports betting as entertainment. So it's, if you're out with your friends, even if you're by yourself, you're watching sport, you kind of like want to engage deeper into sport, and you can do that by placing bets. So it's really entertainment. And yeah,
No,
that's how
there's some great points, a lot of great points in there. You know, I've always been the same way where I don't even consider it gambling. I consider it entertainment. I consider it investing more than I would consider it gambling from my perspective. But I love that outlook on it. You mentioned something else in there that caught my ear and caught my attention. You said you think or hope that Florida, Texas, California will come around here sooner than later. Obviously, me being in Florida, I'm like, come on, Florida, let's go, quit dragging your feet. What do you truly think the realistic time frame is for, let's just say Florida or any of those states that you mentioned? I mean, are we talking still a couple years away here, or you think there'll be some pretty accelerated growth here, fairly short time frame?
I mean, I'm still hoping for some kind of like shortcuts to get there, but I think California is expected now to go live 2023. I wouldn't be surprised if Florida and Texas are kind of like in the same range. So that gives us a few more years that we probably have to wait for it. But until then, I think it's very important to start basically developing other states, and the more states legalize sports betting, the neighbor states basically see the revenues that are coming in, and it helps. Competition always helps in the business, right? Sure. So if you have your state, the other neighbor states basically making a lot of revenues through legal sports betting, and you as a state are sitting there and you have no revenues coming in, all your population is basically going offshore, so people are betting offshore. I mean, take Texas, where you're based, or Florida, or other big states, California, etc. Everywhere where you don't have legalized sports betting yet, people that love sports and want to bet, they find ways to do that, as they have done before PASPA was repealed. Yeah. So therefore, it's urgently needed to have legalized offerings in place. And I think so that will accelerate at a certain point in time, but fingers crossed that's hopefully sooner than later.
Oh, 100% agree with that. I hope it's sooner than later. And I hope the coming back of sports here will kind of drive some conversations, and maybe we'll start seeing a little activity pick up there, because we had quite a bit of momentum for and when I say we, the U.S. legalization industry, there was quite a bit of momentum before COVID hit. And then when, the pandemic hit, I feel like it's kind of down, but I'm hoping it just skyrockets again here once we kind of get back to civilization and normal life.
And some people think because the states need money right now, that will help accelerating the process for them to legalize sports betting. So fingers crossed that we get there. Yeah. But also with the states that have legalized sports betting so far, almost 0.5% of the adult population of the US has access to sports betting, or will have access pretty soon. Sure. So I mean, we're halfway in already, which is good. And when PASPA was repealed in May 2018, which is just a bit more than over 2 years ago, some people didn't expect that to go so fast. So I think it's great what the US have established so far. And of course, there's a bit work ahead of us, but it's great momentum. And for an online brand like PlayUp, I think we feel like pretty confident, because we are online only. People don't want to leave their homes. They still have the option to play. And I think that's what people want to do.
100%. So being an online only company, right, as PlayUp is, I'm assuming customer acquisition is, going to be a major, I would say, challenge for you guys. It's going to be something that you guys really have to put a lot of work and effort into. My question around that is, a lot of the people that watch this show, and a lot of my background comes in the affiliate marketing space. And I'm curious if PlayUp, and if you can't talk to this again, just tell me to buzz off. But I'm curious if you guys have any plans of kind of offering an affiliate program for people to help promote PlayUp as it starts to grow.
Absolutely, yeah. We will be working with affiliates. We will give bonuses away, as everyone is doing. And we will have some other acquisition tools that are more like thinking outside the box. So we're working on that right now. for us, of course, the challenges, as you said, we are new to the US. Most people haven't heard about PlayUp yet, apart from probably Australian people that live here. But so as every other brand that's coming into the US, that's a challenge, right? Yeah. So customer acquisition needs to be a combination of bonuses, affiliates, and other things. But I think one of the advantages that we are scalable. We are online only. We don't have to go out and take care of retail locations, etc. So that's, in terms of cost, that's something that we can save and put on the bonuses, right? and then from a strategic perspective, in Australia, we've been pretty successful because we are giving really great odds away. So we have basically better odds than most of the bigger players in the market, and that makes us being pretty attractive to casual bettors as well that want to kind of like get the better deal in the market. I think that will be an advantage in the US market as well. And then what is really interesting is, other than Europeans coming into the US, Australians bet a lot on US sports. So US sports is something that, for whatever reason, catches the interest of Australians. So our risk and trading team is actually used to trade US sports already. And if you compare it with Europeans, being from Europe myself, soccer is the number one sport, and 80% of the betting volume is on soccer. So in Australia, that's different, and that's other advantage that we have. So we are used to doing US sports and do risk and trading on that, and hopefully come in with better odds than everyone else, and kind of like beats the bigger players.
Hey, that's how you got to do it. You got to offer better odds and more promotions and things like that. So I'm sure you guys are going to do a wonderful job of that. I mean, who doesn't want better odds? I mean, come on. If you're a bettor and you're any kind of a smart bettor at all, you want to get the best odds out there, and you'll shop around if you have options to find those. So I think you're onto something with that for sure.
And then also on the product development side, I always like to compare our company with a speedboat, right? We are not a big dinosaur that's sitting there forever and have had the same products for a long time. We are really the small and agile speedboat that comes in, can see trends in the market. If we see that something's not working out for whatever reason, we can change the strategy around in hours, in days, and basically adjust things that we see that need to be adjusted. So for example, during COVID, we launched esports betting and even fantasy on esports betting. And those has turned out to be very successful products. And we had just the best months ever during COVID, which is pretty ironic.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that shows that even players that are kind of like new to the market and that are more agile have a chance in the market, right? Sure. And that's why we are here. And as I said earlier, it's not about duplicating what's in the market already. It's about disrupting what's in there, coming up with new products, new ideas, how you can really engage the fan. And I think that's what we need to do at the end of the day. It's about fan engagement. It's about if you watch a game, to get entertained on a second screen device, and that's what we want to do.
Yeah, that's amazing. So if the listeners had any questions, or maybe they even have some ideas to how to make it a little more innovative for you guys, how would they contact you? Would they contact you or contact your team? Let me know how they would get a hold of you guys.
Yeah, they can contact me. I'm on LinkedIn and Twitter. I'm doing quite a good job to respond to most of my LinkedIn. Most, yeah. Sometimes it's just too much.
I hear you.
But yeah, whenever I have a chance, I look through and I'm pretty responsive. So
amazing.
And I'm always open to get great ideas and discuss great ideas. And I get a lot of, especially because I worked as a consultant for the last year, I got a lot of requests always from young companies, startups, and so a lot of product innovation, and that's great. So I love to see that and have conversations with those entrepreneurs. So that's always fun.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate your time here and you giving us a little bit of time on this show. Any last words before we go? Any last words or anything you want to say to the audience, or just anything about PlayUp that you haven't spoken on yet before we go here?
No, I think I appreciate being on the show. I think you guys do a great job, so I love your podcast, and pleasure to be on. And yeah, I wish everyone to stay safe in those crazy times, and then hopefully later for this year, check out our PlayUp app.
Well, I appreciate the kind words. And guess what? You are actually episode number 100. So this is like a milestone episode. We got Dr. Mintas on for a special number 100. I don't have balloons or anything flying up, but when this is published, it should be number 100. So appreciate you being here, and I appreciate everybody tuning in, listening, watching this show. Until next time, Dr. Laila Mintas, thank you for being here. Everybody go out, check out PlayUp. It's going to be a disruptor in the industry for years to come here. So I'm excited to see what you guys have in store.
Thank you so much.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Have a great day.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Noob Sports Show. If you enjoyed this podcast, please consider subscribing to our iTunes channel today. Plus, visit us at noobsports.com for more picks, previews, strategy, and news. That's knupsports.com.